Kansas on Thursday.
Oh, that's fun.
No, it's not. No.
Topeka?
No, we're in Salina. Salina. You
How
don't
far
have
is
to know where
Salina from
Salina.
Topeka?
No idea. As I have no. Kyle
Did
has
the in-laws move?
sister moved.
Oh, okay.
Sister moved. So it's
You
brother
know who
plus
else is
sister son.
moving too?
Who?
Mike Budenholzer.
Oof.
Moving on from the Suns. So I want to start this podcast off with this. Who's got more coaches fired? KD or LeBron?
Ooh. Who? So I think there's the difference is who has fired more coaches and who has got more coaches fired. I think LeBron's fired more coaches just outright. I think he had authority probably a few times to do so. Whereas KD is just, I think KD's a little more passive and he's just getting you fired through play or corruption within the team.
So I'm not saying, or I am saying both are the same. Whether you do it passively or aggressively, who's got more coaches fired?
Is there an actual, you've got the data. You've got the data.
I've got the data. I ran it quick.
Ooh, that's a good question to go through. I would say it's 4-3 LeBron.
Wow. It's 5-4 LeBron.
Okay.
But KD is coming. He's threatening. Last 2 years, 2 Phoenix coaches gone. And Frank Vogel, he's got hit twice. Once by LeBron, once by KD.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that goes on your Hall of Fame? Like, is that a consideration? How many coaches you got fired?
I'm going to try to spin this positively. It means you've played the game for a long time and you probably play at a high level.
Right. And you figuratively are so good that the expectations are you win. And when you don't, it's not you, the player, it is the coach.
Not only do you win, you got to win a championship, right? You got to go very far in the playoffs. And when you've got that kind of talent and those kind of superstars, they expect and want the best.
Agreed. And when you have the thing is I don't know. We got to look at the data. There's no, you know how in baseball the correlation between you spend, you win. Dodgers are a great example. Yankees are a good example. Phoenix had the highest, I believe. What do we call it? The salary
Cap.
Salary cap? No. Spend of roster spend throughout of the entire NBA. And I believe they came into the season projected to have 42 and a half wins. They ended with what, 32? Missed the playoffs outright, something along those lines. So that's a projection of the coach, I guess you'd say. Not necessarily the players. People believe in the players, but they, in effect, the coach just didn't do his job.
But we always say there's 3 components. It's the players, it's the coach, and it's the general manager. And the Phoenix Suns ownership and whoever coach you bring in, they're in a tough position. Can't trade Bradley Beal. You're stuck with him.
Yep.
KD's not going anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you either have to blend in with your personnel or you have to get rid of your coach. And Budenholzer did not get along with his players. Frank Vogel didn't. Monty Williams, we didn't even put that one on KD because KD came after the trade deadline. Monty Williams, 4 coaches in 3 years. At what point in time are the Suns going to pick a coach and ride or die with him for at least 2 years?
I think with the Suns, you have to go like Tyronn Lue, for all intents and purposes, was a pretty good coach, considering it was a former player. Yeah. Right? I think you have to have that same thing when you got a lot of egos, right, in the room, which you do have with KD, Booker, and Beal. Like Budenholzer, I don't think he could identify with the players all that well. And I think that's what it showed. You need a former player that understands how to manage egos, personalities, connect with players. And I don't think you watch Budenholzer, coach, he had the X's and O's all scripted out. And then you had guys kind of looking in the air like, this guy doesn't know anything, right? Just give me the ball and I'll score. Suns, you're right. In difficult position. You got to go hire a former coach, in my opinion, if you're going to win. If you're going to manage personalities and egos.
You also have to hit the reset button. KD's gone this summer. So my next question is where do you want to see KD end up?
I love KD. I do. I mean, he was a number 2 draft pick by the Sonics back in the day. I watched him play for, I think, a year while he was in Seattle. God, he's in the latter. You got to go find an organization where you're not expected to be the guy. I think at this point, you gotta humble yourself a little bit and go, I'm not going to be the guy that plays all 82 games. I'll play 62 for you. He prides himself in being ready and going, but you got to be kind of the ancillary. You got to be 1A or 1B, excuse me, in my opinion. Go play with, I don't know, unless you go somewhere like the Heat, Miami. Ooh. I could see him in Miami, to be honest. They got a good kind of core of players, and maybe you're 1A and 1B at that point.
Who's your 1A, Tyler Hero?
Yeah, I guess he could go be 1A on that team.
I like the Heat. I also like these teams. I don't know how they're going to get them, but I do like these teams. I like OKC just for the storyline of him returning to Oklahoma City, finishing his career in Oklahoma City, getting a title with Shea. I think that would be great. Also like Minnesota, teaming him up with Ant. I think he's got to go to a place where he is the 1B and where there's only one superstar. Like they mentioned the Spurs, but they've got Wemby and De'Aaron Fox, and I think that's too messy at this point in his career. I don't know how OKC gets him. I don't know how Minnesota gets him. Maybe package Julius Randle and some picks. But KD, he's got to go somewhere, and he's got to go somewhere where he thinks he can win a title.
But how disruptive, like to your point, if you're these teams that just are on the precipice of winning a title, you're going to have to give up a lot for KD. Are you willing to do that at this stage in his career? Like, do you see KD as the tipping point to getting you a champion, considering you're giving away a lot? Like, you want continuity, right?
It's going to be interesting. Depend on the playoff run, right? Let's just say OKC gets bounced early or Houston gets bounced early.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, because then they have a lot more time to take into consideration what the negotiation starts at that point, right? As soon as you lose, KD's viable at that point.
Yeah, and everyone's got rabbit ears, right? If OKC goes out early, it's like, they can't win. They don't have the team, blah, 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 didn't play well. They need pieces. Shea wants to win.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I wonder what the market is. I really do want to, like, what is, you went back to like GM, coach, players. Yeah. At this point, the GM's got to figure out what's the value of KD on the open market, more or less. What are you willing to give up? And if you miss, it'll be a big miss. Seriously, it's got to be, right? Because you're going to give up a lot. So a lot to consider. As much as I love KD, I don't
market though, because Rudy Gobert, 4 first rounds, Donovan Mitchell 3, Luka only AD, right? So what's the market going to be? It's got to be more. It's got to be. I think it's got to be 2 players who can contribute right away, plus 3 first-round picks.
But here's another thing to consider. Phoenix is like paying everyone, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to go out and get guys under contract that are going to continue to exceed the Phoenix is going to hit the reset button. They're going to come back and say, Booker, you're our guy. And what kind of pieces do you need around you, figuratively, to get into the playoffs? Just get in. We need to get into the playoffs at this point.
I think Phoenix is a couple years away. KD traded. Booker, you're our guy. Beal, you're to the bench until you accept a trade this year or next year.
Yeah. Reese, you're right. You're right. It's going to be, KD is going to set the mark. He's the one guy. You know how there's a free agent in baseball, right? It was Juan Soto this year. Yeah. There's a free agent in the NFL. I don't know who you want to refer to that person as this year. It's definitely not Aaron Rodgers.
Sam Darnold.
Sure. Sam Darnold was the guy, right? From the quarterback position. This year, it's going to be KD in the NBA. He's going to be the first domino to fall.
Why are we talking about this? The next domino to fall is going to be this podcast. Hello and welcome to Big Ben and K Winn. Each week we broadcast live on YouTube. If you're watching this live, drop your comments below. If you're watching on demand at any time, drop your comments below. If you're more of an audio podcast person, download, listen, subscribe, and give us that 5-star review. Today we're going to talk all things NBA. We may mix in a little MLB. Shout out to the Angels in advance. They're playing well. I'm K Winn. He's Big Ben. Where do you want to start?
And I'm talking Magic Mind real quick. So Magic Mind is let me just quote Alex Snodgrass. She's a wonderful, wonderful author of a few cookbooks. None that I've read. I'm still on the old Betty Crocker cookbook, but Alex Snodgrass has come out with a few. And her little quote, after drinking Magic Mind, my brain fog lifts and I'm able to conquer my to-do list with less distraction. I don't have a to-do list. I follow my calendar, but I get you, Alex. You're able to knock things out. You're able to create those recipes. And for that, we are thankful because the food that you have conjured up is absolutely delicious. All thanks to Magic Mind, Alex Snodgrass. She is a New York Times best-selling author. That's a part of her formula. It's a part of our formula.
Great cookbook, great healthy living, healthy eating. That's what we're all about on this podcast. I want to take us to what Rufus Du Sol, Grammy award-winning artist, had to say. We've been using Magic Mind in the studio together for the past 6 or so months working on this record. It's become a ritual to take it together and dive deep into the creative process, the clarity, the focus, and flow we get from it without it messing with our sleep patterns is a game changer. That's Rufus Du Sol, and I love it. We're creators. We get on this podcast once a week, and it helps us get the energy, the clarity, and the mental performance that we need to crush this podcast each and every week.
All right, giddy up. Where are we going? NBA playoffs, WNBA. Shout out to the WNBA last night. The draft was amazing.
Paige Buckets.
Paige Buckets goes. We had international players, which means I think it's going to bring more eyes to the WNBA, obviously, as we've seen in the NBA. The production was great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the WNBA.
Yeah, they're doing a better job of marketing their players, marketing their teams, marketing the draft, like putting it in a time slot where there's not a lot of distractions, right? Like there wasn't really anything on.
Yeah.
If they would have put this on during the playoffs, it wouldn't have had that much success. So shout out to them. I think they're figuring out how to market and promote the game and their stars.
The Storm got the number 2 pick. And the other thing I took from them was Gino Ariemo looked like Calipari up there. You know how Calipari used to have a boatload of players and just
walk in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Walk in the room. All right, guys, let's go get drafted, and everyone see that. I mean, UConn's going to have sustained success. Gino will be able to coach into his probably 70s if he wanted to.
Maybe he should coach the Suns.
Where are we going?
We're going Lakers.
No, before this, I'm not gonna muddle up your Lakers content. I know, but here I'm gonna be the contrarian today.
Okay, where do you want to go?
I want to go to the Western Conference race that is now completed. The playoffs are set. Playing games are coming. I want to get a shout out to LA Clippers. 9-1 in the last 10, and the formula might be working. This whole load management, Kawhi's back. Harden's playing. Zubac has become a beast. And I'm thinking this, K Winn. You know how we all love incentives?
Yeah.
I give my daughter incentives all the time. You know, you do this, you receive this. And it works for the most part, right? Everyone, I think this championship window with the crew that you have right now is shrinking pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Like, I think he sees this as the last year we can feasibly go get it done, right?
It's fair.
So you go 9-1 down the stretch, and what do? You get the Rockets. I believe you get the Rockets.
No, they get the Nuggets 4-5.
Ooh, okay, never mind. Well,
I mean, the Nuggets don't have a head coach.
Yeah,
chemistry's a little scattered.
Yeah,
turmoil in the building.
Yeah, there you go. Sell me on that. I'm bullish on the Clippers.
Okay.
I'm
beat the Nuggets.
Best player in the game, average a triple-double this year. Like, Jokic is just ridiculous. Jamal Murray's a little banged up. Yeah, they can do it. Absolutely. Kawhi plays like Kawhi. Harden plays like Harden. They're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough out. And can you imagine the playoff game at Intuit, the Intuit Dome? Is that what we're calling it? God, it's gonna be crazy. I'd
I
rather go
think
to a
Clippers.
Clippers.
I think Clippers are going to do it. Kawhi, I've got some stats here. I'm glad you brought that up. Kawhi is averaging in April 35 minutes a game,
Okay.
26.4 points, shooting over 50% from the field, 48% from three. He actually looks great. I watched him on Sunday against the Warriors. That was actually back-to-back games where he played over 40 minutes a game.
Ooh,
You've got
see it?
Harden that does what he does. You've got Zubac, who could be potentially defensive player of the year. If he's not, he's going to be all-team defense. I think the Clippers get him.
You do? All
Yeah.
right. Tell me the Lakers. Give me the other side of the coin here.
Well, before I get into that, I want to talk about two LA teams, one baseball, one basketball.
Okay.
The Anaheim Angels, as of this morning, are 9-6 and in first place. The Angels have won 4 out of their 5 series. The Angels also haven't made the playoffs since 2014. Clippers have never won an NBA title. They've got to the conference final once. Kawhi got hurt that year. Who do you trust more? The Anaheim Angels or the Los Angeles Clippers heading into this playoffs?
I'll say straight away the Clippers, just because it's where they're at in the season, right? But I will say this: the Los Angeles Angels are currently
Of
leading
Anaheim.
of Anaheim. Go back to the California Angels. I will say this: they are leading the league in home runs. They have 30, more than the Yankees, more than anyone else. And it's all relative. The Colorado Rockies have hit 8 home runs as a collective team up to this day. So you look at that lineup. Their second baseman, I can't recall his name, has 6. A second baseman has 5 home runs. That's the leaders are, I think, at 6. Mike Trout has 6. Joe Adell, who's playing, he's a left fielder, who I really like. And then you have Profar, I believe, who's got 4 or 5 home runs. I mean, I'm going to relate them.
Profar is banned.
Not Profar. Who's
You got Soler.
Soler? Thank you, Jorge
Ex-Royal.
Soler. Yes.
Kyron Paris, second baseman.
Yes,
They're
there
hitting
you go.
home
Thank
runs.
you.
Been
Give
doing
me
it
all
for
the names. Yes. So look at it this way. I think the Angels have come in and said, listen, if our pitching stinks, what do we got to do? We got to put up more runs. Listen, I don't care about singles, doubles. I want you to go up there, swing for the fence. It's similar to how the NBA has changed, but I think they'll take it to the next level. Like, I don't care what your average is. If you're hitting 150 and that, one hit every 10 at bats or 1.5 hits every 10 is a home run, that's all we need. That's what we need. We can't have singles, doubles. We just don't have the pitching. So how do you overcome that? Every hit's a run. I mean, that's nearly what it is for the for the Angels so far. Do the formula stay like? Do they learn how to pitch to these guys? Probably. But Trout's back in the lineup, and that's big for them. I don't trust them, but I believe in their current tactics in terms
Yeah.
of producing wins.
They're similar, not only because they're both in Southern California, but their best player has been hurt over the last couple of years, right? Trout just got to stay healthy. He keeps getting banged up. Kawhi's got to stay healthy. Even when the Clippers made it to the Western Conference Finals, Kawhi didn't play. He got hurt the series before against the Utah Jazz. So looking at my notes here, Lob City, 2011, 2017, they didn't get to the Western Conference once. The Kawhi era, 2019 to present, Western Conference Final once. Maybe it took 6 or 7 years for this load management thing to work.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the year. I trust the Clippers more than I trust the Angels. I trust the Clippers to beat the Nuggets. Could we see the Clippers play the Lakers?
Oof.
Conference final, Battle LA?
Oof.
What do you think of that, Big Ben?
And let me ask you this: if you're so you got, I try to relate this. Okay, you got Cubs fan. You got two teams two baseball fan teams in Chicago. You got the Cubs, and then you got the White Sox. Is it relative to what you see in LA with the Lakers being synonymous with the Cubs and the White Sox being synonymous with the Clippers?
Not present day because the White Sox are so bad. But if you go back to when the Cubs had like Rizzo and Bryant and Pryor, and the White Sox had like Aaron Rowan, AJ Pierzynski, it's kind of like that. So maybe 10 years ago,
Here's where
but the Cubs are always the favorite. Everyone loves them, loves going to the games, loves the fans. The Cubs are the Lakers. The White Sox are the Clippers.
So my point being, I think the Clippers are going to look at, we're the villains. And then again, they weren't talked about all that much until the last 10 games in which they put up a 9-1 record.
That's because Kawhi was out.
They have momentum.
Picked, I think, 12th to finish. Harden, say what you want. He played well, sustaining that run, sustaining that team until Kawhi got back. And look at my notes. They've won 15 of their last 17.
The Clippers, they have momentum. They have everything you want. You put together a perfect end of the season. Like, I think Ballmer's saying the formula works. Now, I think there's some sort of incentive. Like, he's going up to guys, have you heard of equity in Microsoft? Like, I'm willing to part with a lot in the event you produce a championship. And that could be the case. It could be the case. I think. And then conversely, you've seen Memphis. But to answer your question, I could see in LA. I mean, Silver would want to see it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Second biggest market in the country, having two teams, Ballmer versus Buss.
Yeah, to go to the NBA Finals.
Oh, it'd be good.
The Western Conference is loaded, but the Western Conference is loaded with issues and things and other stuff, right? The Nuggets, best player on the planet, best center ever, but they fired their coach.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have all the spacing needed. They don't have defense. They've got a short bench. You got Memphis. Ja's always into trouble. He loves doing things just to keep his name in the headline. They also fired their coach. Rockets are young. OKC's young. Warriors are good, but I still don't know if they have enough. Lakers in 5. Lakers will win the first round. They'll win the second round. They'll get the conference final. They'll win that. Lakers. Let me do my little thing, and then you can sit there with your poopy face, and you can doubt it. Round 1, the Lakers play the Minnesota Timberwolves. And he's playing well, all league level. But Minnesota's offense is like the freeways in Los Angeles. There's traffic. It's clogged. There's no space to go. And with Gobert and Randall, there's no place to go. Ant's got to shoot threes. I don't think he can do it all by himself. There's not enough pieces around him. Lakers in 5, round 1. Round 2, who would the Lakers play? They would probably most likely play Houston, Memphis, or the Warriors. Memphis Warriors play tonight. It doesn't matter. The Lakers are winning that. And then they either play the Nuggets, the Clippers, the OKC. And JJ Redick is smart enough to scheme up one win. Luka's good enough to basically win 2 games. And LeBron is still good enough to win 1 game by himself. Lakers go on, play the Celtics. Jaylen Brown's knee. Donovan Mitchell's ankle. Lakers, Luka, title. Give me my Lakers hat.
I mean, your theory, I don't know if that's even a theory. That's best case scenario, I think, in all regards. Depth becomes a problem. I mean, you need those games to go to 5. Like, if you go to 6, 7, like the probability of you winning a championship comes down drastically just because you don't have a ton of depth. You're going to have to rely on Luka more so than anything. LeBron's LeBron. I don't see, just due to depth. Like, I don't see the Lakers coming in and just trouncing teams. I don't see it. Now, you're right. The West is a little shaky right now. There's been a lot of changes. There's been a lot of.
The key will be the Lakers have to win in like 5 or less in round 1 and round 2. Because if that goes 7, the next goes 7, and then they have to go against Denver or OKC, you know that series is going 7.
Exactly. And you got teams sitting around. If a team's sitting around for 4 or 5 days waiting for you to come in and they got, the Lakers are going to probably be playing at a, they're not going to have home court advantage throughout. So, and then you got to go to OKC or something like that. You're right. If they can get out of series in 5, the first one's going to be vital.
Yeah.
Set the tone. When's the NBA finals? Sometime in mid-June. We had a long.
It's
NBA.
about a week before your birthday.
Yes. So we got some time. We'll banter on this. I mean, the first series will be telling. Absolutely. Golden State. I'm surprised you're not higher on Golden State just because they're in the play-in game. Obviously, we'll wait to see. We'll hold on the Warriors.
I want to root for the Warriors. I think Jimmy is a great addition, but I still don't think they have enough. Besides Jimmy and Steph.
Yeah.
They play more horizontal, like I got to spread the floor. We got to get spacing with motion. And I think it's going to be a challenge trying to rebound against some of these other teams. And if they play OKC, they've got 2 bigs, got Jokic. They can beat the Lakers in the regular season, but I think the Lakers have more firepower when you look at Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. The Warriors just really have Curry and Butler.
True. Draymond's not a threat, that's for sure.
No.
Okay, so you got the Lakers. I'll go with the Clippers. I do like the Clippers. I think Ballmer's...
Clippers coming out of the West?
Yes. I mean, I like OKC, but there's always it's the last chance. I think the Clippers really have to win a title with Harden, with Kawhi, I think Zubac will be there for a while. I think he's a mainstay. But for those two, this is the kind of the last hurrah, the last dance, if you would. Like if you're Ballmer, you've paid these guys a lot of money to produce, and they haven't up until this point. And all of a sudden, like you said, the load management way may be working.
Sometimes you have to go through the depths and bowels of like horrible situations to excel in a highly leveraged situation. The Clippers have been through the shit, so maybe this is the year they get out of it. On the other side of the fence, sometimes if you're young enough and dumb enough and like, I'm not buying into the hype or I shouldn't be here, maybe OKC can do it. Not that they're dumb. I'm just saying they're numb to the experience.
There you go. Numb. Just change the word. Take the D and interject the N. Numb would have to be the thing. But the thing is, you get the numbing point is when you're having to go into OKC. Realize you're in the smallest market team of any NBA team, and you're flying in there to get beat by a Shai and Chet and the like Hartenstein, and it'll be fun. The playoffs are enjoyable. I mean, let's be honest. No one watched the regular season for the most part. We're here to watch the NBA playoffs and playing games, baby. Let's go. Giddy up.
Warriors versus Memphis in 2021. Warriors lost to Memphis, then lost to Lakers. They were out. Warriors have to win this game.
Yeah,
because if they win it, they get 5 days off. They don't play until Sunday. Rest Clay. Ooh, wow. Rest Clay. Wow. Still think Clay's on the Warriors. They got to rest Steph, rest Dre, rest Butler. Steph put a 50 burger on Memphis last time. Let's see if he can do it again.
Yeah. There was, I mean, I think everyone is like, roll back 3 weeks ago. Everyone's like, I trust Steph. But that was assuming that they weren't in the playoff game, right? That they had better seeding. Now it's left up to the interpretation that maybe they aren't who we thought they were with Jimmy. Right now, there's skepticism in and around the team. Okay, we doing baseball? We doing nothing around baseball? Nothing yet?
No, it's playoffs.
No?
Yeah.
All playoffs.
Yeah. Everyone's shorting the young teams. So it's like OKC and Houston, they got no chance.
Right.
Warriors, Lakers, Jokic. It'll be interesting. Maybe Houston, OKC will shut us up. Maybe we'll be on this podcast talking about H-Town, maybe.
Yep.
Probably not.
NFL draft coming up. Shedeur Sanders not going to the draft.
Yeah.
Is that to avoid the whole Mac Jones effect? Maybe, maybe not. Not a ton of teams high on Shedeur. Cam Ward, former Coug, maybe going number 1.
By him not going to the draft, I think it says a lot about how potentially high he could go, and how potentially low he could go.
Exactly.
Because if the Giants don't draft him, I mean, he could drop into the teens, and he probably doesn't. I wouldn't want to sit there and camera
Right.
on me, camera on me, camera
Right.
on me.
Yeah. Could you imagine? Well, I mean, that's been done in the past. Who's sat in the green room the longest, I think, as a quarterback in terms of projection and drop? I don't know. You can ask, but Shedeur Sanders is the one guy that he doesn't want his brand ruined.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure he's going to have some sort of pre-draft party. I don't know. Miami, Club Live, wherever it is. Like, he's going to be that guy. But you're right. I don't know if the draft class is poor or it's just there's not enough QBs kind of propping up the idea that there's going to be a run like there have in previous years. Like Michael Penix going at 8 last year, there's not going to be one of those again, even though you had Kirk Cousins, because it's just Michael Penix is probably better than any quarterback in this current draft class.
I think this class is great with offensive linemen and tight ends, where we'll hear about these people, but they don't have the sexy brand name or the sexy position. Like, we don't have the wide receivers or the quarterbacks at the forefront of this draft. It's going to be a lineman, tight end, and running back draft.
It's going to be boring.
Yeah.
But the team, it's going to be boring. You're right. But it's the NFL draft.
What do the Niners and the Suns have in common?
What's that?
They're both rebuilding. Should we get out of here?
Brock's payday came, right? We got to pay Brock. Everyone else has got to leave. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Before we get out of here, I want to tell you about Pete Holmes, actor and comedian Pete Holmes. He is a Magic Mind ambassador. Here's what Pete had to say. For years now, Magic Mind has been like my own personal magical mythical beast that I set loose to destroy my procrastination, my lethargy, and brain fog. But unlike a mythical beast, it tastes really good too. It tastes really good too. Magic Mind does taste good, and it helps me slay this mythical beast each and every day. And that is sleep deprivation, energy, focus. All of that goes away with Magic Mind.
At Big Ben K Winn, wherever your social media, at Big Ben K Winn _. That's Instagram, Threads, that's TikTok, that is X. Not X. Yeah, it's X, right? It's X. And then wherever your podcast at Big Ben K Winn, that's Spotify, Apple iTunes, that's Google Podcasts, wherever you're getting those. Like, comment, 5-star. Just give us some love. We haven't any comments as of late, but
we have, but they haven't been good. You got to step up your game.
Lakers, Clippers got to step up their game. All LA Western Conference Finals. That's what I want to see, because then I'm coming down and we're going to the Intuit Dome.
Yeah,
and you're wearing a Lakers hat and you're getting chastised. That's what I want.
Done.
I will. Western Conference Final, LA Clippers. I will bring down 2 hats for you, because inevitably one's going to get knocked off your head and stolen. I'll bring you 2 hats, 2 Lakers hats. Intuit Dome. Ballmer. Boom.
See ya.
See ya.